guys, welcome back to another episode of Car Conversations with Fran and John. And this round, we are actually in KL.
That's right.
Yeah, so we are spending a few days in KL, spending time with our friends who actually were from Penang, but they've moved to KL to work. John, would you like to kickstart this whole thing?
Yeah, so welcome to KL traffic. I'm driving, it's actually considered pretty near from where we are now in the Bangsar area.
Yep.
We're going to one of the sections, we are in PJ now. So driving on the roads in KL is, I would say radically different compared to definitely with Singapore, and then comparing to the rest of Malaysia as well, especially where some of you know that we came from Kelantan, Terengganu, Kuantan, and cutting across Pahang to now here in KL Selangor.
Yeah, I mean drivers are definitely there's a lot more cars. There's one thing for sure, you know, people can be a little bit more impatient, and then of course KL is very famous for its traffic jams.
Yeah, my eyes has always to be on my eyes are always on Waze, which I always need to know how to navigate in real time. At the same time, you know, manage the traffic. So yeah, so I would say the experience, especially when we first stepped into KL, is you know, everything suddenly became a lot more fast-paced compared to the rest of Malaysia. A lot more traffic, a lot more people, not just on the road but also in the malls, also when walking around. I would say the energy of the place become a bit more compressed, a lot more rush actually. If I can actually compare with, let's say, Singapore also has a very fast-paced life. I mean, don't get me wrong, both KL and Singapore itself, they are so you know, hustling and bustling. You know, when you're at your work, it's like, you know, running here, running there, you're going at a very fast pace. But one thing about the difference between KL and Singapore that I realized is, in Singapore, after work, right, you tend to have a more relaxed pace of you know, off work kind of relaxation. For example, your workplace is, let's say in the CBD area, right? The Shenton Way, very fast paced, very busy. And then let's say you go off work, you go to a place, let's say in Holland V, right? Let's say on the west side of Singapore. Then you feel that, you know, you can really slow down and chill, you know. And even the traffic that gets you from Shenton Way to Holland V is quite a straight road if you take the expressway.
And most people take trains, right? Yeah,
our trains, yeah. If you drive, or you take the train. So you don't feel the urgency, right, even after work. But in KL, after work, the first thing you're greeted with, because everybody in KL drives, right, most people, right, and the first thing you get into is a traffic jam. And not only that, the traffic jam is such that, you know, you have multiple lanes which are pretty narrow. You got to do a lot of switching to another area. You need to be constantly like what I should be doing now, looking at your map, knowing that you're going the right direction. Why? Because if you happen to go in the wrong direction or took the wrong turn, even one slight turning earlier, that might be a 20-minute mistake just to get a U-turn.
And it's going to be very costly because you pay tolls.
Extra tolls, yeah, that's the other part of it. So there's also a lot of people driving in KL, you know, needing to find the most cost-effective way to drive so that you don't pay maximum toll. But there are people who wants to save time, so they will pay for the more expensive highways that get them to the destination faster. So, which means that actually, in terms of the cost of living in KL, not even just talking about other things, I'm just talking about transportation alone, is going to cost you a lot more as well. So the stress comes in all angles, other than being on the road.
Parking as well?
Yeah, parking as well.
We've been paying double digits for parking in malls this whole trip for in KL.
Yeah, like in Kelantan and Terengganu, we pretty paid nothing for toll, paid nothing for parking. Did we pay anything for parking?
Not
maybe
really.
just
Not
like
really.
a 2-3 ringgit thing, that's about it. But in KL, ever since we stepped in, we've been paying non-stop for tolls and parking as well.
Yeah, I think we really spent almost 50 ringgit just on parking alone. Tolls and parking, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, today's video will really like to share with you, in terms of work-life balance, right? I just want to compare maybe KL and Singapore because both are very fast-paced cities, right? But the difference between, if I can share with you from my own personal experience, is there's a very compressed feeling when we're in KL, both during work and off work timing. Everywhere is a lot of traffic, right? The only time when you find that the traffic is not really busy is, I will say, after 9 p.m. which is actually really late already. But in Singapore, you find that maybe after the peak hour timing from after work, right? That is 5:30 until about 7 plus. By 8, everything is clear already.
Yeah, so we've been meeting friends, right, for dinners, lunches, and whatnot. And I think we have to cater in extra timing, or rather arrange for our dinners to be a lot later. Like for example, it is not uncommon to have dinners for us to meet people at 8 o'clock, right? Because like a friend of mine, she starts work at 8, but she also leaves work at 8, because if she leaves work at 5:36, it makes no sense, right? She'll be stuck in the jam, and then she'll get to the destination at 8 o'clock anyway. But if she leaves at 8 o'clock, then there's lesser traffic and she gets to her destination in within 15 to 20 minutes, as opposed to being stuck in the jam for an hour or two, right? So a lot of people, like my cousin, my cousin comes home from work at 8:30, 9 sometimes even. So that means my auntie will buy food for him and he'll have his dinner at home at 9 o'clock, right? So that, for us, I mean, in Penang, right, we eat our dinners at 6 p.m, right? So sometimes even 5:30, because we tend to have a very heavy breakfast, so we tend to skip lunch, and then by 4, 5 o'clock we get hungry, so that's when we have our dinner, right? So to have dinners at 8 p.m. is very, very uncommon for us. Even in Singapore, we also eat around 6:30, 6:45, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just a different way of life in KL, right? Things are more fast-paced, people are stressed. Like, we've been meeting a lot of friends, right, over the last few days, and a lot of them are actually pretty sick and tired of the corporate life already, right? And they're in their early 40s, mid-40s, and I mean, you can tell, right? And we've got friends who also quit their jobs. They are thinking of opening their own business, starting something new on their own. So I think that is the very jaded feeling in life, especially life in KL. And of course, like my auntie likes to joke in KL, is that every time you're in KL, you need to have two things, okay? You need to have a full tank of petrol and an empty bladder. That's what you always need to have.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught on a heavy standstill traffic, and then you have a full bladder, right? That's another worry on top of other problems that you're currently having now.
So we just wanted to share this quick video with you guys, like, how is it driving in KL? And I mean, I honestly am very scared to drive in KL. That's why John does most of the driving. I see the roads, I see there's a flyover, and then there's a road under the flyover, and then there's an underpass. I get freaked out, right? So John does a very good job in that. So yeah, good job.
Thank you for that. Well, I can tell you that it's so easy to take the wrong turn, because there's a lot of overlapping roads, there's a lot of turning and winding, going up onto like little ramps, and right as I'm navigating right now, no, not this one, the next one. Yeah,
see, it's very confusing. I thought he needed to turn left already, but
no, it's the next one, and the turnings are like right next to each other, okay, and then sometimes the signboards are not very clear, and you only see the matching road on your ways after you make the turn, which is quite funny.
A bit redundant, right?
Yeah, so it's that's part of being in KL. So even if you are somebody very seasoned, staying in KL for very long, right, you still need your Waze or your Google on to navigate. And that's the thing, right? A lot of extra brain power, a lot of stress creeps in, because after work you just want to switch off, right? You just want to go into autopilot, get to wherever you want to go. So you can't do that. And not just talking about traffic, right? Talking about food. We actually met friends the last few days in cafes. So the cafe food price is a lot. Cafes and restaurants is really a lot higher, even compared to Penang. It's a good 20 to 30% higher already. So KL people also need to stay out late, right? Because they want to avoid the traffic. So they leave early to eat out, and they end up coming back late, and also their last meal being a meal out as well. So you can imagine the stacked on cost that you're paying for all that, right? On top of paying for tolls, parking. So if you're somebody who's staying here in KL or interested to come to KL, these are things that you probably want to take into account in terms of the cost, in terms of the fast-paced way of life. You know, so these are some of the things that we just want to share with you while we are here.
I mean, there's always
in KL.
trade-offs, right? You got your Michelin star restaurants, you got really nice restaurants, eateries in KL, which you will never get in Penang or any other state for that matter. But that's the great part, right? You've got events, you've got happenings, you've got concerts, and you've got plays. But on the flip side, then you've got the busyness of the city life, right?
Yeah.
Traffic jams, your smog, you don't have really much fresh air. Everything's a concrete jungle. And you eat late and whatnot. So there's always prices to pay for everything, right? So it depends on what is the kind of life that you want to have.
Guys, let us know what you think. For those of you who are currently living in KL or are very familiar with KL, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us on this car conversation. Do hit the like button, subscribe, and join our YouTube family.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.